So I recently went to Auschwitz in Poland, a place where more than 1 million people are systematically robbed of their life, executed. And this place will let us think about human evil. We can even see it as the place that is the most evil out of all places in the world. And before I thought the people there would also be very evil, it has more to do with the place than with the people themselves that were doing these evil deeds. So if you stick with me in this video, you will understand more of the psychology of evil via philosophers, psychologists, to really understand people evil in society, but also how to prevent evil in yourself. I'm Luke. I'm a psychologist focusing on personal development, developing your identity, skills, and direction in life. Famous philosopher Hannah, who thought a lot about evil, specifically in the Second World War and the Holocaust, because she is a Jewish woman herself. She went to the trial in Jerusalem of Eichmann in 1963. And what she rightly expected was a monster, the architect of this systematically killing of people. This could only be a monster. To her surprise, she actually found more of a bureaucrat, someone that was career-oriented and just obedient, not even very radically and ideologically, just following orders. And she called this the banality of evil, or the normality of evil. Her insight is that evil is not exotic, like something out of the ordinary. It's actually quite ordinary. If you just stop considering the effect you're having on other people and you just conform to a corrupt system, you will commit evil deeds. Then 2 years later, a really famous study in psychology, the Milgram experiments, where 65% of regular people participating in the study delivered what they believed to be were lethal electrical shocks because a man in a lab coat told them so. Obviously, this wasn't real, but they thought it was real. And there was an actor that was acting that he really was tortured by these shocks, and people just continued. This can also be described as a agentic state. Under authority, ordinary people, even you and me, stop seeing themselves as a moral person, and they become mere instruments by other people's will. Always question authority when necessary. And similar effects were seen by the prison experiments done by Zimbardo, where regular people were psychologically and even maybe physically abusing other participants just because they were chosen as prisoners and not as the guards. But these labs and these studies are artificial. You could say this is just a simulated environment that doesn't represent reality. That real people wouldn't act in this evil way that hurt other people like themselves. Well, I have a sad historical record of Christopher Browning. He published a book called Ordinary Men, where he studied the German police battalion in Poland. So not fanatical Nazi elites, just bakers, clerks, factory workers, people too old for military service, so most of them even grew up in a democracy in the Weimar Republic before the Nazis took on power. So they weren't brainwashed from youth. And in 2 years, this unit of 500 people murdered 38 civilians, men, women, children, mostly with a rifle at close range. So this is a really personal way to commit this evil. And the crazy part is that after first executions, these men were given the option to step out. No consequences. So they could refuse and there would have been no punishment. And only 10 to around 15 people did. The other 85% kept on the killing, not from their ideology, but more from peer pressure, not wanting to disappoint their comrades. So this is not philosophy, this is not an experiment, this is documented history that regular people can turn into monsters. So how can we explain this psychologically? Albert Bandura in 1999 published a paper called Moral Disengagement. And as a mechanism, he founded several psychological switches that let people selectively turn off their own ethics, their own moral compass, their own belief of good. And there are countless. He actually found 8. But the most important 3 are as follows. The diffusion of responsibility. So there are multiple incidents, but also in psychology, that people in big groups tend to not stop a perpetrator, even in broad daylight, because if there are 10 people, you only feel, let's say, 1/10 of the responsibility to help. Now, the second is dehumanizing. When you stop seeing someone as a full human rights, the moral weight of harming them decreases. And the third one is moral justification. For example, saying, I am doing to protect my country. So you justify what you're doing to be something good. And these switches are basically in all of us, but more daily or on small scales. Excluding a coworker because you don't like them, running a red light because everyone does it, lying to protect yourself and others, calling it kindness. The mechanism is the same, but the skill and the context within you're doing it is different. So the wrong question you can ask, am I a good person? Am I a bad person? Or even, who am I? It's not the most effective question to ask, given all these information, facts, and theories that we just discussed. The better question for you is to ask, what situations am I choosing to put myself in? And as follows, what are these situations making of me? Most of the people are good people, but most of the people are also bad people in the wrong situations. So to audit about yourself, to think about it, to take away something for yourself so you can create an environment wherein you can be a good person. Audit, evaluate the following 3 things for yourself upcoming week, maybe even right now. The first one, who are 5 people you see the most and which direction are they pushing you? In a good direction, in a bad direction? Are they pushing you towards your mission or your own mission? The second one, when were you lost under real pressure? What did you see in yourself then? Did you see yourself going along, speaking out, or only maybe later realizing you were doing the wrong thing? What can you do about this for yourself when you are in the next pressure situation? How can you act in a way you're later proud of yourself? And the last one, what moral line would you not cross? But also, why are you so sure you won't cross that? Are you, in the wrong circumstances, inclined to cross that line? Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But the situation you put yourself in helps a lot. So maybe you are not who you think. You are who your circumstances make you to be. So choose them consciously and deliberately. Watch the video that comes on the screen right now to get more value.